What is up, everybody? How's it going today? My name is Saratube, and today we're bringing you a little bit of a different video. It should be a fun one, and we're going to analyze how the Inferno has affected the OSRS market here. It's really interesting to see how items that have crashed are now going back up rapidly. Last week we had the Zulrah nerf, which threw a lot of things off, and now with this Inferno update, people are figuring out what they need for it, and what's in demand, and it's just kind of crazy what's going on right now. A lot of money can be made flipping, and it's just really great. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, so pretty much I picked some items that I thought would have some weird price movement due to the Inferno update. Items that I've been seeing used in the Inferno, and items like gear that relates to the Inferno. So starting off, I think it's pretty obvious we're going to go through the potions. Super restores just completely crashed. That was kind of expected. I think everyone knew that, especially since the raids update kind of did a similar thing. So looking at the quarter here, the price hiked all the way up to about 11.8k at the max. It's all everyone's buying in for their potions because they're trying to merch them. Let's see, that was on May 8th. And then on May 29th, they crashed all the way until the release of the Inferno to 9.8k from 11.1k each. That's a pretty big crash. Definitely was kind of expected, though, especially if you were around watching the raids update. Very similar price movement there. Now, of course, the Saradomin brews for the next movement here. We have May 20th, they're at like 8.2k, but even way before that in April, they're at like 7.6k. I don't remember when Inferno was announced, to be honest, but it was somewhere around March or April, I believe. Please let me know in the comments if I'm incorrect on that statement, but anyway, I think we all noticed the gradual hike up in the price of Saradomin brews. Personally, that's why I've stayed away from buying in bulk as of now. And yeah, same kind of price movement as the Super Restores. They went from 8.8k each all the way down to 7.7k each. That's actually not as big of a drop as the Raids drop, I believe. I think Raids, they crashed like 3k or something, but they rebounded a little bit here. I don't expect these prices for the potions to stay permanent, so make sure if you want to get a lot of potions, you buy them soon. Going on to prayer potions, I was actually a little surprised that they didn't crash more. They've actually started to get really expensive recently in the month of May. They've been up to 11k for a long time, and throughout the month of May have gradually been going down, but either way, they are finally down to 10.3k each, which is still very expensive for prayer potions, but regardless, right before the update, kinda, they teetered a week before with Zulrah, the Zulrah update. They have been steadily going down, as I was saying, but they were at like 8 or 10.8k each, and they just kept going down. They had a little jump before the update. I'm unsure of why that probably happened. But they went from 10.5k to 10.8k each, and then with the release of the update, they're down to 10.3k each. No one really uses prayer potions in the Inferno because people just buy Super Restores because it's the better option, but yeah, I don't really know why prayer potions had some kind of iffy movement. It kind of seemed undecisive, so if I had to take a guess, I wouldn't buy a lot of prayer potions right now if you had to, just because I expect they'll probably crash a lot more again. So anyway, let's move on. So some other items here, going to more gear-based now. This is where the real movement is. The Ancestral Robe set I looked at first because I saw a lot of people using Ancestral Robes in the new Jad because you need to mage him. Now, there's a lot of interesting movement with the Ancestral Robes here because, well, that Zulrah nerf really made people panic. As you can see, it was at 335.7 mil, and after release of the balancing changes and the Zulrah nerf, it was down to 318.4 mil, and then it just kept going down with a further balancing till 305.7 mil, and then On May 26th, it was 291 mil. Now that's crazy movement right there. And it remained pretty low, but as Inferno was coming around, I guess people, the last minute buyers that needed the gear, I guess, to do Inferno, decided to, buy in. Also, I'm guessing people were trying to merch the item, bought in too, because they knew people would need it for Inferno. And pretty much, pretty basic movement here, nothing too drastic. This is pretty healthy movement as of this past like half week, kinda. Of course, it's on the downhill now, but that's because people are dumping. The people that are merching are dumping for the Inferno update, so not a big deal. If you need to buy Ancestral Robes, you can probably buy them now. Probably nothing too severe is going to happen to them. Aram's Robes, with the Zulver nerf, again, they crashed from 5.2 mil all the way down to 3.8 mil. They've actually only continued to go down, and I believe this is because people that are doing Zulver and realizing maybe it's not their favorite money-making method anymore, or the best for them, or continue to sell their robes, and people that maybe are doing Inferno, or that maybe can't afford the ancestral gear, are realizing that, maybe I need the ancestral robes and I can't even do this until I have them, so maybe they're just continuing to sell them. It looks, if we look at the quarter here, it actually looks like a pretty good time to buy these Aram's robes if you need them. They've been at a pretty high price for a while now, and it's definitely something that you might want to consider looking into. But again, depending on how badly you need them, if you give it a week, I feel like you might even be able to get a lower price, because it kind of looks like it's going to keep going down. Going on, I also looked at Eternal Boots. This was kind of an interesting one because everyone I saw in the new fight caves has kind of had these boots, at least in what I've seen at least. And they were around the summer special, so that was May 20th. They were around 7.2 mil, and then the Zulver update came out that crashed it down. Now we're looking at the quarter here, so we'll look at the month in a minute, but it went down to 6 mil, which is kind of crazy. I didn't think people would actually sell the Eternal Boots just because they're kind of best in slot, and you kind of need them for anything mage related. So now that Zulver was gone, it was kind of weird to see that it just dropped like 1.2 mil. It's kind of confusing to me. But it went down to 5.6 mil, which is kind of crazy. And then even on Inferno release date, I guess people that were trying to flip these boots were all dumping, and it went down to 5.5 mil. Definitely a good time to buy Eternals if you need them for training, like mage training or anything like that. They are definitely at a low point. Now, just getting a little closer view of the month, you can see they rebounded at 5.3, meaning they started to come back up. And from there, we've had some pretty healthy movements, going up or down 100, 200k every day since then, with June 1st it being at 5.5 mil, which is very cheap and affordable for Eternal Boots. Looking at Pegasians, same kind of deal. You can see how the Zulver nerf crashed it because everyone was dumping. A little interesting. Can fetch the data, that's fine. But a little interesting movement here, as we see it on May 26th being at 26.9 mil, and then it jumping to 28.2 mil on May 29th. Again, I'm guessing this is because people wanted to buy. People probably sold their Pegasians before the crash, quote unquote, or like during the crash, just so they didn't lose money. But then realizing they might need them for Inferno, so some people bought them back, bringing the price up a little bit. And then again, people merching that, dumping on the date of the Inferno. Again, this is all my guess. I feel like that's probably correct, but again, this is all my opinion and my analysis of it. So you guys should look at these and make your own opinion. Moving on, I was looking at the Trident, because I knew that kind of got affected with the Zulver nerf a lot. But also, I know is being looked forward to for the new fight caves. with the heavy emphasis on magic used within the caves. So as you can see here, the Zolar nerf totally kind of brought the price of it down from like, let's see, where was the Zolar nerf? I have to look at the month. So yeah, the world map and balancing changes. I don't know why it's been on the down movement. My guess is because, I don't know, everyone that's had, it's Trident's not that expensive, so people don't really think about saving money when they buy a Trident. I mean, if you're a rich player at least. But it only continued to go down a little bit more with the Zolar nerf. But actually, Inferno affected it because people wanted the Trident for Inferno if they couldn't afford like a Kodi Wand or something like that. So, as you can see, from May 28th to May 31st, it was on the rise. And it looks like nothing out of the ordinary for June 1st. People probably started selling their Tridents that they've been holding a little bit. But really, that's like healthy movement. No signs of a market dump or anything like that. Again, moving on to the Sardoman Godsword. This is one I thought would be interesting to look at. Because even the Godsword crashed for the Zolar nerf. I don't know why. But it went down to 43.9 mil. Before, like, May 2nd, I was going to say, like, early May, it was around the same price. That's actually, it's been hovering around, like, quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it was at 41 mil at one point, like, maybe in March. It's been hovering around, like, 41, 46 mil, pretty healthily. It hasn't really gone, much over that. But I think after the Zolar nerf, I guess, brought the Sardoman Godsword down to a price that looked appetizing for people to buy into. So you can pretty much see an overnight movement of 43.9 mil to 45.4 mil, just because I think people bought it for the Inferno, or trying to merge it for the Inferno, again, as I've been saying for these items, because there's a lot of economic opportunity here. And as you can see, since then, pretty healthy movement, all the way up to the release of the Inferno, where it took a little jump from 47 to 47.5 mil to 46.7 mil, which is pretty good. I assume that's because people realized they needed God Swords in there, so they just picked them up real quick, or maybe something like that, I guess. But then again, it spiked down, so the merchers probably dumped at this point, bringing it down to 45.7 mil. My opinion on this one: don't buy a Sardoman Godsword at this point. If we look earlier in the oh wow, okay, so it was actually lower than I thought. But if we look earlier, like March 15th, we can see it was at 39.6 mil, and it was pretty low all the way until it was pretty low all the way through April, and then as we got to late April, it started going up again with a little down spike right before May, and I just think the Godsword will go down again. Just from what I've seen, especially when there's no updates out for a while and people are just grinding God Wars, things like that. So I would just wait on the Godsword if you can. It'll save you maybe like 4 or 5 mil. Now moving on to the Kodi Wand, it's really had a steady uptrend. Even the Zolar nerf didn't affect it as much as I thought it would actually be affected. Actually, that's a lie. I actually didn't notice this before. It actually put it in, it dropped, but it rebounded for Inferno really good. It dropped a lot, actually. That's a lot more than I thought originally. Sorry, I go back on my word. So 107.3 mil to 96.1 mil. That's crazy, actually. That's a lot of movement. I don't know why it got Zolar nerf again, it seems like, but I guess people just dumped their wands because, well, they kind of lost confidence in Zolar. But as Inferno was on the horizon, I think this is a big one for like merchers. I think merchers saw this opportunity because, as you can see, there's a really quick spike over the next 3 days, 4 days, and it's just steadily going up, 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 up. And then right before the Inferno, it was just jacked on price, and it looks like it's down to like 103.8 mil on June 1st. This video is being made on June 2nd, just by the way, and it looks like it's slowly going to go down a little bit. I'm guessing to around 105 mil, and then it'll probably go back up again. But I could be wrong. Again, that is just my guess. Just the reason for that, I mean, just merchers dumping. That's pretty much it. But people also, there's just more supply than there is demand at this point. Everyone's selling, but a couple people are buying because they didn't have one before. If I had to guess, probably not the best time to buy a Kodi Wand. As you can see, the uptrend has just been going up, up, up ever since it came out, really. But still, that's an all-time high price right there, 120.2 mil, and it's just probably not worth it. Will it probably still go up? Yes, but I think we'll be able to get a better deal on it come maybe in like a month. Just if you want to get this item for a good price, just keep watching it. It'll probably go back down. I wanted to look at Elysians and Arcanes because I've been seeing people use them in the fight caves, or the new fight caves, that is. And this is an interesting one because it's just like after the Elysian lost a lot of its power due to the nerf, it really dropped in price. I think we can all remember that. It was like 700 mil to like 270 mil or something like that, which was crazy. But after that, it's actually been rebounding throughout the month of May, and I think it's due to Inferno hype. I really do. The reason for that is because, as you can see, it's just going up. It's just slowly. It's petering a little bit here, early May, but as we hit like late mid-May, it really hit a steady price of like 360 mil. I'd say it kind of stayed around 365 mil and 363 mil. Then as we got to Inferno, it looks like people sold their Elysians because I think that's probably they didn't have enough confidence that you'd actually need an Elysian there, so they just wanted to get rid of them. And today, or yesterday, it sits at 356.7 or 0.5 mil. And yeah, that's actually good. Some healthy movement for the Elysian, finally rebounding up. I guess it's being affected because people want the Elysian in the caves. Moving on to the Arcane, it took a big tank after the Zulrah nerf. As you can see, it went from 130 to 110 mil, or 110.8 mil. Rebounded a little bit to 115 mil. Stayed relatively steady until right before the Inferno update, where it spiked 4 mil there from 112.7 to 117.3. So that was good movement for that. And then again, it's just been going down ever since the Inferno update to 103.4 mil. If I had to take a guess at it, it's probably a good time to buy an Arcane if you want one. I think it'll peter down here, probably until late June, and then it will spike up again. So you got all of June to save up your money and get an Arcane if you'd like. Moving on to the blowpipe. Let's see here. It's at like 2.2 mil right now. After the Zulrah nerf, it spiked. So that was expected. I think everyone knows that. If less are coming into the game, it's going to go up. But I guess it hit an all-time, not an all-time high, but it hit a high point at 2.6 mil here, and just went down ever since. Went to 2.5 mil the next day, and the next day 2.4 mil. Ever since then, it's been going down, and I don't know why. It's probably because people just have been selling their blowpipes with the Inferno update. Maybe I think people probably saw that the price of the blowpipe was going up at first, and at this point, May 26th, a lot of people dumped their blowpipe because they thought it would go back down again and they could buy in, and they were correct. But it looks like as it from May 29th to May 30th, people saw confidence here and decided to buy in on the blowpipe, but then again, people got nervous and sold, showing the downtrend in price here. but I don't think it's that important when you buy a blowpipe. You only save like 500k depending on when you buy it. But if you had to buy one, now is a good time to buy one. It does look like it's on the upswing though, as it is 2.271 mil right now, and it was at 2.241 mil yesterday. So it's up 30k. Not a big deal. Buy one if you need one. Imbued Heart, this is an interesting item because it took one of the hardest hits out of all the items from the Zollverein nerf. It went from 37.9 mil on May 20th to 31.8 mil on May 23rd, which was crazy. I personally have never seen movements like that in the Runescape marketplace, but it actually kind of steadied out down here. It kept going down, and then it's still going down a little bit, which I thought was interesting because everyone knew magic was going to be needed in the Inferno, and I thought people would, I honestly thought the Imbued Heart would crash and then spike back up immediately, just because people would have saw the good opportunity to get it and would have bought in just to get it for the Inferno and dump it after. I was expecting in maybe a week after the Inferno, maybe 2 weeks, that the price would again crash. I actually thought it would crash to an all-time low. But this movement's interesting. It looks like people don't place a really big value on the Imbued Heart. They don't think it's worth the 29 mil it's even worth now. And it's the only item that's going to give you like a plus 10 magic boost. But I guess it's just not that important. I don't really know. It's just interesting to see how that was panning out there. And the last item we're coming to here, I know this has gone on for a while, and I'm sorry, I do apologize for that, is the Din's Bulwark. I thought people would want to get this item because for Inferno, no one really knew what to expect, and since the Din's Bulwark is a pretty new item, and Jagex kind of alluded to it, being needed for some future updates back in March, I think that caused the original spike up from what it was at like 7 mil or at one point, or 9 mil, and now it's at what was it, like in May 18th it was like 25 mil, but now it's at 16 mil. But getting into it here, it didn't look like the Zollverein nerf really played any effect on it. This seems like some pretty healthy, pretty average movement. But as Inferno got closer, I think people bought into that bulwark. As you can see, from May 28th to May 29th, it spiked from 18.8 mil to 21.9 mil, which is you can see some movement going on there, and people were getting ready to merge this item, expecting that the Inferno would need the bulwark. And as we've seen so far, people have been using the bulwark in Inferno. Especially Wooks, I think, was using it when I was watching. But either way, that was cool. And it got up to 22.8 mil on May 30th. And, of course, at the same kind of day, it dumped. Because people want to sell it for that good price. And you want to be the first to sell it before it crashes all the way to 16.3 mil. But yeah, as you can see on the release of the Inferno, June 1st, it says May 31st, but it was May 31st at 8 p.m., I guess. It was at 19.1 mil. As you can see on the week here, let's see where, okay, here's the Inferno, 22.8 mil, down to 21.2 mil. Steadied out a little bit and then crashed again from 20.9 mil to 17.8 mil, and then further crashed again to 19.5, all the way to today, where it's at 14.65 mil. If I had to tell you when to buy in on the Din's Bulwark, I say wait another month. I do think Jagex is going to release content that does need the Din's Bulwark, but I don't think you need it quite yet. Again, we don't know if we need it for Inferno yet. We're not sure. People are still kind of figuring it out. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more content like this. I kind of went outside of the box on this one. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of do a little OSRS market analysis of these top items that have been buying and selling, and this crazy price movement that's been going on with both the Zollverein nerf and the Inferno release. Now, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you